Hello, Calaveras County. Welcome to another edition of Mondo Calaveras. I'm your host, Mike Taylor. Now, if you've been in the Mother Lode for, I want to say more than maybe a month, you have probably heard of my guest today, and I can't be more excited because they are basically a Mother Lode tradition, and there's no easy way to say it. It's the Black Irish Band, ladies and gentlemen. Guys, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having us, yeah. Right.
Yeah. Now, we've got Patrick Michael Carnahan,
Yes.
who founded the group, and Steve, you were there at the beginning too, weren't you?
Pretty close, yeah.
Yeah.
A couple years later.
And then our two new guys.
Not really
Stan,
new.
not that new.
Jimmy joined in 2000.
Jim, that's right.
And Stan's been with us for about 3 years now.
About
On
3
and off,
years,
yeah.
okay.
3 years, yeah.
And what started it all?
Well, we just started, we decided we wanted to play some ethnic folk music. My late partner, Richard Restivo, we just passed on a year or so ago, we were involved with the Back to the Future 3 on the movie set. And I knew Richard previously from playing a couple performances with him on trumpet, because we were both trumpet players. And he told me he had played stand-up bass, and I had been living in Ireland. I said, well, I've really got into the folk singing in Ireland, and I just picked up the banjo and a mandolin. And I said, maybe we could form a band. And we started talking, and we said, well, it could be Italian, it could be Irish, Scottish. And right now we're pretty much, I think, Americana with a strong influence on probably the working man, probably, as well as definitely in the Celtic vein, Americana Celtic vein.
Yeah, because you guys have mixed up music from Italy and, like you say, all the Celtic countries.
Yeah.
And this was 27 years ago now?
30 years ago.
30 years
30
ago.
years ago,
My
yeah,
gosh,
30
I'm
years ago.
behind the times
Yeah,
already.
yeah. We actually, our first band practice, I remember it quite well. It was the night of the Loma Prieta earthquake. We were in the classroom at Stir Elementary School, and one of the students had rushed in and said, Mr. Restivo, who was our bass player at the time, said there's been a big earthquake in San Francisco. And so that was our very first band practice, actually.
Wow.
So when we came out with our 10th anniversary album, we titled it The Day the Earth Shook. Because that's how we founded the band on that particular day. And so we kind of stuck with that theme. And but we do a variety of things. We've recorded 26 albums, well over 110 original songs, as well as hundreds of traditional tunes, some contemporary and some as old as, the 1700s. A little bit of everything.
Why don't you play us one of those really old
Sure,
ones
yeah,
that
this is
got
one of
us
the
going?
earlier tunes. This is from the 1800s. It's called The Irish Rover. It's a favorite of ours from the 1800s. It talks about a good ship and a crew leaving Ireland on the way to New York City with a bunch of building bricks. And in the story, like most Irish songs, everybody dies in the story completely, and also the dog. So it's called The Irish Rover. You might have heard it from 1800s. Ready, boys?
Yes, sir.
1, 2, 3.
July 1800, we set sail from the coast. We had loaded our ship with a cargo freight for the Grand City Hall in New York. She's an elegant craft, she is rigged for a nut. Oh, how the trade winds did blow! She had 27 knots and the sailors lay black, and they called her the Irish Rover. We had 1 million bags of the best Sligo rags, 2 million barrels of snow. We had 3 million bales of nanny goat's tails, 4 million barrels of coal. We had 5 million hogs, 6 million dogs, 7 million barrels of porter. We had 8 million sides of blind horses' hides in the whole of the Irish Rover. There was Martin McGee from the banks of the Lee. There was Hogan from Calgary's Island. There was John Weaver. There was Ganston Covenant and the chap from West Malone. And there was Sluggerone too. He was drunk as a reel and fighting Bill Tracy from Doe. From the banks of the back was the skipper of the Irish Rover.
That's how it's done, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen? What I wanted to ask, hearing a song like that, is I'm sure that over the years, all these years, you've dug through some old tunes and maybe found some old folk songs or something. Have you taken pieces like that and kind of modernized them or updated them and made them your own?
Use a lot of times the rhythm. A lot of the songs were written as old ballads that bards would sing, and they're more poetic and a lot slower in tempo. So, we definitely changed the arrangements, and we definitely, the rhythm, a lot of tunes. So we take modern songs all the time, too, that sound like folk songs, and we make them sound even more folk songs. We make it sound more like a folk song. Like, for instance, we might do something, let's say, by the Dropkick Murphys, and we'll make it sound more folky the way we do it versus the way they did it. And so, we like to arrange it to put our own brand on it.
Your own spin on it. Now, Patrick, do you write the majority of the music that are originals that you guys perform?
Most of the songs we recorded, I've written all of them, pretty much. Steve's written a few, and then Richard Restivo had written a few too. Yeah.
Do you have kind of a favorite style? I mean, do you like to do a ballad, or do you like the sort of rousing drinking song kind of thing?
I like to do a little bit of everything. Some poignant, slower songs, but at the same time, we like to do songs that kind of talk about our local history here. I write a lot of songs about mining and railroading and things like that I'm interested in as a hobby, but more importantly, it's kind of regional where we're at here. We try to combine the history of, let's say, the Irish or Scottish, Cornish or Welsh from this area during their time here when they were, out mining or working on the railroad or building construction. And so we do a little bit of everything.
Have you maybe got something from the Gold Rush?
Yeah, we can do a song I wrote actually from the Comstock Silver Mining original tune.
Cool.
I wrote a song, it's the title of our 25th album, Give Us All Your Whiskey. Songs are related to mining and whiskey and the short lives of the miners. I wrote this about the hard rock Comstock miners of Virginia City, Nevada that worked the silver boom. And it's called Give Us All Your Whiskey, about the short lives of the miners in those days, because it was very dangerous work going underneath, being underground all day long. And then, by the time you get up and lift it up on the hoist, it's already dark. And a lot of miners work 6 days a week. Usually Sunday would be a day off, and that was a day usually they would go into the saloons, and fortunately they lose a lot of their money. And that's what this song is about, the short life of the Comstock silver miners. It's called Give Us All Your Whiskey.
Great.
It's an original tune, has 4 different parts to it, and let's start it, boys. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Down in the mines we work the silver ore. We load it in the bucket and we shot the iron ore. And up through the skyline and the Lord another day. We're roaring in the town, you can hear the miners say, give us all your whiskey, go heavy on the pour. For we be Irish miners, the likes you'll see no more. Give up your bloody cigars, we'll take Prince Albert too. To celebrate the evening, it's the least that we can do. Very well, very well, good friend, drink up until the end. To make the owners rich, we toil their lives away. So goodbye, girl, Molly, farewell to come some too. We wear the wooden box, is a waiting there for you. And give us all your whiskey, go heavy on the pour. For we be Irish miners, the likes you'll see no more. Give up your bloody cigars, we'll take Prince Albert too. To celebrate the evening, it's the least that we can do. Very well, good friend. Very well, good friend. Break out until the you see no more. Give up your bloody cigars, we'll take Prince Albert too, to celebrate the evening, that's the least that we can do.
I love the heavy on the pour line. That's just- but that's that kind of song that you can easily imagine those miners singing in the bar.
Well, that's the idea of it. The song has 4 parts to it. It has, of course, the jig that I wrote, that Irish jig, and then it has the verses. And then we have the shout out, which is for the buyers. And we get people in our audience that know that well. They shout it out, they
I
stomp
bet.
their, beer mugs on it. And then the thing about Prince Albert was the tobacco used to come in the cans, and miners used to roll their own cigarettes. So that's if you go around an old mining site around here, you'll probably see a little can of Prince Albert. That's where that came from. So basically, we're going to have a good time. Our lives are going to be short, and we're going to enjoy this moment together because we're not sure we're going to be here tomorrow. That's what it's about. Yeah.
Now, speaking of your audiences, you have a really dedicated fan base that seems to jump at your albums the minute they show up, that kind of thing. And do you ever think about how they're going to react to a song while you're writing it, as you're coming up with it or recording it?
Sometimes, yeah, because some songs are a little bit out there. We're never sure how. Like I wrote a song about RVs, Winnebagos. I call it affectionately road toasters because we always nicknamed those back when I was a kid. Those are road toasters.
Yeah.
So I wrote a song about people. It's all tongue in cheek, kind of fun, but I wasn't sure how people would take it. But they enjoy the humor in it. And you know how road toasters and big RVs are up there on a summer day blocking traffic.
Yeah.
But, so yeah, we take a risk every once in a while, do something crazy. Or we just did a version of Shipping Up to Boston by Flogging Molly, which is more of a grunge Celtic punk rock song, but we kind of folkified it. We weren't sure if our traditional audience would like it, but it seems to fit right in with our instrumentation. For instance, the banjo and accordion, which is kind of their lead instruments too. So we feel it'll fit. We'll try to make it work.
Try to make it work.
Yeah, be versatile.
Now, again, speaking of the audiences, do you even know how many performances you've given in 30 years?
I don't know. I try to think probably 600-700 maybe. I don't know. Could that be right? I mean, 30 years. So
100 million.
That's right.
yeah, we played a few.
Never mind the hyperbole.
We played everything. I mean, you name it. From.
What's the wildest thing that's happened while you're on stage performing?
Well, there's been a lot of crazy. Well, I
You
remember.
bet we could say publicly?
Yeah, probably for
I
the
just
family
remember.
audience.
I just recall the other day we were playing in Ville, Colorado, and we were playing on the stage, and it got so rowdy. People, they were being nice, but they were throwing quarters at us. And that was there were rowdy bagpipers from like 8 or 9 different bagpipe bands. It was at a Celtic festival, and they loved us, so they started throwing quarters. It got so rowdy, we figured out how to remove the glass window behind us. That's how we exited out of it. It ended up into a mosh pit.
Oh my
Yeah, that
gosh.
was a crazy big. We've had a lot of them, though. I mean, I remember when we flew to Singapore, we were on Evergreen Airlines, which is I believe it's a Taiwanese airline, and I remember, up at 40,000 feet, we had a jam session in the back of the plane, and we weren't sure how the rest of the people would take it. We were the only folks, I think, from the States, but they really loved it. We just started jamming in the back, and they started bringing in us beers, and it was kind of fun on a 747. That was pretty neat. Yeah.
That's pretty cool too, and that's it too. It's not just the music that's popular worldwide. The band is too, right? The
We
Black
actually
Irish
have
Band, you've
a
been
nice
all
phone
over.
because of venues like Pandora, YouTube and videos, videos we've shot over the years. It opens us up to such a huge audience, and our music basically can be downloaded anywhere. You could be in Japan, or I don't care. You could be in Finland. You could download a Black Irish. Or you can listen to one of our iHeart or Pandora radio stations that play our tunes. So we're, because of the internet, we're exposed to a worldwide audience, which is nice.
Yeah.
In the old days, it was hard to get your music out there when we started, but now it's, we're out there. If people want to find us, they can.
That's it. BlackIrish.com.
Heck yeah.
No harm in
Yeah, back in the days of CD sales, we were sending them, like you says, Finland,
Oh, yeah.
Eastern Europe,
Wow.
Yep.
Australia, lots
That's
of
something
Australia.
I bet that was interesting. See,
Yeah, yeah.
where's this address going to be?
It was very interesting.
Now, you guys also have, as well as kind of the Celtic and I'll call it the prospecting or kind of mining mindset, but you've also done quite a bit to honor firefighters across the
True,
country.
yes,
and
yes.
Lord knows in California that's a pet issue, and those are very popular people around here. What kind of inspired that?
Well, I was a firefighter when I was out of high school. And
Okay.
I worked over 20 seasons with U.S. Forest Service as a firefighter.
I see.
Wildland firefighting. I started on engine crews, hand crews. And later, then, as you get older, then you get in fire prevention and things for older guys. Like us.
Yeah, that's right.
But
the
I
guys
did-
who aren't out there smoking on the front lines.
Yeah, but I've been around campaign fires ever since I was, just out of high school. And, being a songwriter of history, I realized that it was important to maybe include them in some of our more historical type of songs. So I've written probably a good dozen or so that relate to wildland firefighters. And we do have an album out called Into the Fire, which has been a very popular album,
Yeah.
which caters to the genre of firefighting. And it's one of the only few, I think, offered in the entire world that's on that subject matter. Yeah.
That's something.
So, yeah.
Have you got maybe one of those firefighter tunes to share with us?
Oh, you don't really have any of the
That's
firefighter ones
okay.
today. But we have one of our railroad songs, though.
Well, I know that, and I was
Yeah.
going to bring that up next. And actually, let's just jump to that because you guys very early got kind of connected with, especially the United States' affinity for railroads.
Exactly, yeah.
And
good.
which came first, the music or the railroad? And the reason I ask that is because this year you guys are going to Promontory Point.
Yeah, it's actually, you're right. Yeah, it's actually May 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. We're going to be at Promontory Summit, which is located near the north of Salt Lake. And that was in May 10th, 1869. That was the day they completed the Transcontinental Railroad. Union Pacific and Central Pacific Railroad were there. And it's 150th anniversary, sesquicentennial. And they hired us as one of the official bands to perform all days of the festival.
That's fantastic.
And it's located, technically the spot is called Golden Spike National Historic Site, Transcontinental Railroad. So we're going to be there in outfit. We'll probably wear overalls and look like railroad workers.
Yeah.
And we're there to basically honor the workers of the time and then also time period music that was popular during the 1870s and 80s and that time period. So we'll be there and performing as the dignitaries will be out accepting speeches, and it's a big deal because Union Pacific is still in existence. It'll be their big celebration too. So they'll be there. In fact, they're one of the sponsors, and we're excited because we've actually performed there in the past. And we do have a railroad album out of our railroad tunes, and so it's an opportunity to kind of showcase that album and a lot of original material on there and some traditional stuff too. Yeah.
Great. So serenade us on the rails.
Get a railroad? Okay. We're going to feature Steve McArthur. It's called Wabash Cannonball.
Yeah.
Go, Steve.
1, 2, 3, ooh. From the great Atlantic Ocean to the wide Pacific shore, from the green old Smoky Mountains to the south there by the door. You're mighty tall and handsome, you know quite well my home. Modern combination called the Wabash Cannonball. Hear the bell and the whistle calling, hear the wheels go back back. Hear the roaring of the engine as you go along the track. The magical railroad, you know I just want it all. Gotta reach our destination on the Wabash Cannonball. Listen to that rhythmic jingle, rumble and roll as you glide along the woodland through the hills and mountain shore. You hear the mighty rush of the engine, you hear the lonesome hobo squall as you travel across the country on the Wabash Cannonball. Hear the bell and the whistle calling, hear the wheels go back back. Hear the roaring of the engine as you go along the track. The magical railroad in the heart of the water. Gotta reach our destination on the Wabash Cannonball. from Atlanta on a cold summer day. And as we pulled into the station, I could hear a lady say, he's mighty tall, handsome, and short, and make her fall. And now he's coming toward her on the Lowlands Cannonball. Sing it, boys, ready? Hear the bell and the whistle calling, and the wheel go back, back. In the roaring of the engine as you roll along the track. The magic of the railroad in the heart of the home. And I reach our destination on the Lowlands Cannonball. Now here's to Daddy Claxton, may his name forever stand, and always be remembered in the courts throughout the land. His early days are over, ain't curtain around him fall. Gonna carry him on to Dixie on the Lowlands Cannonball. One more time, boys. Hear the bell and the whistle calling, and the wheel go back, back. Hear roaring of the engine as you roll along the track. The magic of the railroad in the hearts of one and all. And I reach our destination on the Lowlands Cannonball.
Oh man, I clap, but it's popped the microphone. That is fantastic. And that, again, that's that music that moves you, you know, inspires the feet to keep moving. Is that what you look for when you're thinking about writing new songs?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. I like to write songs that, you know, are catchy, that you can still talk about a historical event, but do it in a more modern way, you know, and make it more presentable. And, you know, also as a songwriter too, when I write songs, I try to keep as accurate as possible to the details and the storyline. You know, some writers go off and they add a lot of their own personal, you know, personalness to the stories, but I try to keep them, you know, historically accurate as possible. You know, tell the truth.
Broad enough that it's
As truth as we know it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I can make it interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I want to ask real quick, as the two new guys, what's it like coming into a band that's got its legs so firmly planted in the music that it does?
Actually, I started with another guy. I started with another band that played a lot of the same stuff.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, we started out with a lot of the things, all the folk tunes that we did before.
Okay.
So,
And he was our bass player initially too.
right.
Oh, okay.
Way back when.
Can we do something
came
that he's
back.
famous for?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, we're known.
Play us out with
We're
that.
also known as a shanty band, sea shanty songs that
Perfect.
associated with maritime history and that. And this is one of our favorites. This is taking an old song. It was a British naval song, and we have a whole new arrangement. We've changed the storyline, and now it's based on Nantucket whalermen of the East Coast. It's
Nice.
called Spanish Ladies. And this was also featured in that movie, 1973 movie Jaws with Robert Shaw. This is actually an old shanty, and we've actually rearranged it. Jim Nelson,
Yes.
shanty.
Perfect.
We
And on
twisted
that
to our
note,
own ends.
He's going to play us out, ladies and gentlemen. So join us next time on Mondo Calaveras. Until then, I'm Mike Taylor, and you got to thank the Black Irish Band.
All
Watch for them to
right. Thank you,
perform
Mike.
all over Tuolumne, Amador, and Calaveras counties, and at the Celtic Fair in March.
Yep, that's right.
Enjoy.
Benjamin?
Farewell and adieu, you fair Spanish ladies. Farewell and adieu, you ladies of Spain. We just received orders to sail for New England, and we very soon hope to see you again.
And we'll rant and we'll roar like true Yankee whalermen. We'll rant and we'll roar on deck and below until we sight gay head above Martha's Vineyard. Straight up the channel to New Bedford we'll roll.
And we hove our ship to, with the wind at southwest, boys. We hove our ship to, for to make soundings clear. At 55 fathoms, with a fine sandy bottom, we filled our main topsail, for home we did steer.
And we'll rant and we'll roar like true Yankee whalermen. We'll rant and we'll roar on deck and below until we sight gay head above Martha's Vineyard. Straight up the channel to New Bedford we'll roll.
Now let everyone here drink up a full bumper. Let everyone here drink up a full bowl, and laugh and be jolly. We'll banish melancholy, saying here's to the health of all good-hearted souls.
And we'll rant and we'll roar like true Yankee whalermen. We'll rant and we'll roar on deck and below until we sight gay head above Martha's Vineyard.
straight up the channel. To New Bedford we'll roll, and we'll rant and we'll roar. Like true Yankee weathermen, we'll rant and we'll roar. On deck and below, until we sign